Thank you very much. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. I feel very far. Is it okay if I come closer? Is it okay? All right. So I'm a teacher, so I like to be very close to my people. Please. So. Okay. All right. Thank you. Good morning again. I was almost going to turn back when you mentioned 15 minutes. I was wondering what we're going to do with 15 minutes, but I'm glad it's 50. So we're going to use every second of it very, very well. All right. If you're a business owner, let me see your hand. A business owner. A business owner. All right. A graduate that just left school. All right. Okay. It's a mixed audience. I got that info, so I needed to prepare with that mindset. Now, we're going to discuss on wealth. And the challenge with that kind of conversation is that people would want to first of all size you before they know or determine whether they should even listen to you, especially on the subject matter in question. True or true? All right. And the temptation with that is that I would now want to be tempted to prove myself to you so that you will listen to me, right? And the business consequence for that is that in a bid to want to show off to you, I would be shooting myself in the leg. Because when you enter a realm in business, there are task consequences for everything you say publicly. So on that basis, you can be rest assured that the topic that was given to me is deserving. And I'm raising a whole lot of millionaires through our academy, the Fort Real Estate Academy. I think it's okay to say that I can teach you a little bit about money and wealth, right? Right? And then considering the fact that I don't have the MBA yet, so it sort of means that it's safe to say that I'm still young, right? Right? And then so it means that we should have that conversation. Now, I'm going to do something very strange, but you're going to be very fast with me. Let's wrap that up in 10 minutes, or let's work with 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, we'll wrap that up and then we'll go into the conversation. But the first 5 minutes is going to be a shocker, and it's going to prepare you for the conversation that we're going to have. So we're going to take a test. I call it the wealth test. So if you have a diary, it makes sense that you have a diary, please. In your diary, help me rule 3 lines. 3 lines on your diary. 3 lines, or whatever you're using to write. 3 lines. So the first line should have, let it be where you want to write, right? The first line, so assume this is your notes, right? Look at me, please. Assume this is your notes. Create a space, then come this way. Draw 3 lines. 1, 2, and 3. Did you get that? Did you get that? All right. Okay, I meant come this way, right? Give enough space on this side because I'm going to write it. Then towards the end of it, put 3 lines. 1, 2, 3. All right. You can use about, we're asking 10 questions, right? And so you can draw a line that can accommodate 10 questions. Can we go now? Are we ready? Are we ready? Now, by the end of this test, you will realize your status, where you are financially. Because what changed my financial life was when I read a book titled Secret of the Millionaire Mind. I encourage everybody to read that book. And when I read that book, I realized that I was very poor. Like, I had mental, I had knowledge, I had my law certificate. I'm a lawyer by profession, by the way. And when I read the book, I realized we're going to get to that point in the conversation, but I wanted to just make you understand the importance of what we want to do. Because again, as our convener had mentioned, one speaker, one conversation, one event can change your life. And I know that you can't sit under me for 50 minutes and not have a complete transformation. You can't. Now, let's take that test. First question. So, if your answer is a strong yes to the question I'm going to ask, give that first line, give yourself a 10. Do you understand? Do you understand it? I need to carry everybody along. Now, if your answer is in between, it's not too strong, it's just there, give yourself a 5. Then if your answer is a no, give yourself a 0. Does that make sense? Are we all on the same page? Let me enter the crowd. Let me be sure that we are all on the same page. If you're using a phone, I don't know how we're going to solve this problem. All right, great. This table is getting it right. Now, first question. Do you think you have the mindset of wealth? Do you think that you have the mindset of wealth? And I'm going to explain it a little bit. Do you think that you deserve to be wealthy? Do you think that you were born to be wealthy? Do you by any chance hate poverty for real? If your answer is a yes, give yourself a 10. If you are just there, you're not so sure, you're not too, the way your life will go, you're not sure whether you will feel really enter the wealth 10. Give yourself a 5. If your answer is a no, give yourself a 0. Can we go? Did we get that? Yes. Now, next question. Do you save before spending? Do you save before spending? And be honest with yourself. This is your reality in front of you. Do you save before spending? If it's a yes, give yourself a 10. If it is in between, you say sometimes, you don't say sometimes. Sorry, I'm out of your shot, right? Sorry, that's who I am. Apologize. If you are, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't do, give yourself a 5. If you don't do it at all, give yourself a 0. Can we move? Can we move? Don't lie to yourself, I beg you in the name of God. Number 3, do you have real estate investments or any kind of investment at all? Do you have real estate investment or any kind of investment at all? By investment, I'm not talking about CBS. That is not an investment. So if your answer is yes, a strong yes, put a 10. If you are the one where you get now, one where the village, even you don't know where the land is, it's not really prime, give yourself a 5. If you don't have at all, give yourself a 0. Can we move on? Do you actively track your finance, your cash flow and your expense? In bracket, cash flow and expense. In other words, do you know where your money is going? A lot of us know where the money is coming from, but we don't know where it's going. True or true? If you know where your money is going in real time, give yourself a 10. If sometimes you know, sometimes you don't know, at the end of the month, you don't realize, money don't finish, and you don't know where it went to, give yourself a 5. If you don't even know at all through the year, you don't notice your money do, give yourself a 0. Can we move on? Are you consistently increasing your purchasing power and value of earning? Are you consistently increasing your purchasing power? Now, this question is very important because in our economy, you realize that your salary may be increasing, but you're realizing that you can't even afford what you plan to afford last month before your salary was increased, because the naira is being devalued, and what will save you in an economy like this is increase in purchasing power, not increase in salary. Did you get that? Did you hear me? What will save you in an economy like this is not increase in salary, but increase in purchasing power. You may be saving for a Camry 2.4 between last year and this year, and the Camry 2.4 was 5 million at the time you were saving it, and then you were sure by your calculation that if you save for did your salary increase? Yes. Did you save? Yes. But your purchasing power dropped. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So are you consistently, intentionally increasing your purchasing power? If not, give yourself a 0. If you are consistently, give yourself a 10. If you are trying, give yourself a 5. Can we move on? Are you afraid of taking risks? Risk. Not anyhow risk, not... Okay, I'm going to explain all of that. If you're afraid, give yourself if you're afraid, give yourself a 0. If you're not afraid, give yourself a 10. If you are in between, give yourself a 5. Do you know how to delay gratification? Do you know how to delay gratification? In other words, you just, as you see, if you see anything that you like, you don't buy, you don't care whether you have the money or not. Sometimes you go, sometimes you spend anyhow, literally spend anyhow. In other words, you can't wait. As far as the money is in your account, you spend it. So if you know how to delay gratification, give yourself a 10. If you don't, give yourself a 0. If you are in between, give yourself a 5. Do you have wealthy friends? Your friends are wealthy, or they are wealthy in their mind. They must not be wealthy financially, I mean, wealthy in terms of cash or assets, right? But the fact that they think like you, remember the first question I asked, right? Are you wealth-minded? If they are like you, give yourself a 10. If you are thinking wealth and they are complaining about the economy and thinking poverty, I bet you have a background, you can't make it. Let's just accept our fate. If you can't have this kind of friend, give yourself a 0. But if you have friends who consistently push you and all of you are thinking in the same direction, give us every time. Do you have multiple streams of income or business? They're two different things. I think I'm going to explain sometime in the future. Sometime in the conversation. Now, let me explain. Multiple streams of income is a
Initially, model-based businesses, business selling food, right? You can have multiple shares of businesses, and the mistake we make financially, we're already touching the conversation. The mistake we make, one of the mistakes that we make financially, is that you just started a real estate business. You've not consolidated it, and boom, you started another business. There are already 3 businesses, and none of them is thriving. That is a big mistake. And before you know it, you start calling yourself, what's the word you use to swear entrepreneur? Are you with me? Are you with me? What do you know that does? What's the business? What do you know it for? It only started diversifying when the business, his primary business, had consolidated. You don't begin to do many things when you are holding it. There's somebody gave an analysis when you a cup cannot fill another cup until it is full. It can't fill another cup until it is full. But one thing you can learn to do is to multiply your streams of earning, not only your streams of business. Let me explain. As I'm speaking to you right now, I earn in this. I'm not a lawyer, and I pay very well to do that for clients and investors. I am also a lead facilitator, and I earn money from academy. On the average, I get as much as $2 million from academy. I'm also a broker. I sell properties. So when I sell, in fact, I'm a broker to my own company. So my company pays me commission when I sell my company properties. Do you understand that? We're going to get to that point. What I just said now is structure. We're going to get to that point at some point in the conversation. Now, so that's the broker level. As a developer, I develop an estate, and clients pay me for that. And I earn profits for that. How many streams now? That's 4. That's 4, right? I'm a consultant. I consult, and who pay me for it. I think last one should be a trainer. So I train students and I train corporate entities. On the average, I take 200,000 for an hour training. That's how many streams of earning now. 6. How many businesses? 1 business. How many businesses? How many businesses? 1 business. Real estate. Do you see that? I mean, I was well selling cars. There's no time. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So don't make the mistake of starting. And then part of the problem is that a lot of us have, honestly, is that you are multi-talented. You can do anything, right? You can do a lot of things. But the truth about it is that you can't be a master at them. So you have to decide and consolidate quickly. Next is, are you an investment addict? Are you an investment addict? In other words, are you addicted to investing? So there's something like that for almost 2 to 3 years now, every month I am paying for 1 land or development. I am literally indebted every month, paying seriously from one party or in fact, at some point I bite more than I can chew. But I realize that as I keep biting more than I can chew, I'm expanding in capacity. Right? So that has made me an addict. In fact, sometimes that you buy, how many sure we do, particularly for those who have trained themselves to be investors first before doing that, is that you see property, you love it. Right? As you're looking at it, you're like, what should I buy 1? But that friend is telling you, you can buy 2, you can buy 3, buy 4, buy 5. This place is prime, this is my location. Buy more than that. That's what I mean by being an investment addict. Right? Are you one in your mindset? If you have to time. If no, if you're in between, 1 is fine. And honestly, 1 is fine. Right? If you're that because of 5. If you don't even care at all, just present 0. Do you have a scores now? Calculate it quickly. Calculate it quickly. Do you have a scores now? Please, once I've spent 20 minutes, let me know. Please, just give me 20 minutes of my time every 20 minutes. Let me change it. What's your score? Quickly. It's a master class, right?
Yes.
Okay, it's a conference. Is it a conference or a master class? Alright, so I'm doing like a master class. Does that make sense like this?
Yes.
Alright, great. What's your score? Now, go to the next slide. Work score. Your work score. If you were honest with yourself, if you lied to yourself and you said, if you're honest with yourself and you got 70, let me see. Alright. If you got 60 to 69, let me see your hand. Alright. 50 to 59, let me see your hand. Right? 40 to 49, let me see your hand. 0 to 39, let me see your hand. Alright. Are you seeing your scores up there? 70 to 100 is what? Let's say together. 70 to 100 is what? 60 to 69 is what? You are building. Right? 50 to 59 is what? 40 to 49 is what? 0 to 39 is what? Red. Now, some of you may have scored 70, but maybe your bank account doesn't look like it yet. True or true? Some of you may have scored, some of you may now be categorized as rich or building, but it doesn't look like it yet. You want to. That's the point of this test. If yours was critical, you need to fix it ASAP. It's an emergency situation. The earlier you fix it, the better for you and the next 3 years. Are you with me? Are you with me? Are you with me? Don't feel bad. Don't feel hyped. Your job is to begin to critically analyze this thing. Look at it. Where you were doing little, increase. Where you were doing fine, double down. Some people say that you should save 20% of your earning. You heard that before? 80-20. 80-20. Please don't do that. Not in Nigeria. Did you hear me? If you were earning, or when I was earning 40 and I was saving 20% of 40,000, how much? 8,000. If I was saving 8,000 for a year, that would give me how much? That's terrible. What am I going to buy with it at the end of the year? Right? So you must, in fact, at the time I was saving as much as 70-80% and eating a bonus soup for 5 days, just so that I'll be able to really delay gratification and be able to achieve certain things. Does that make sense? So please, it's not every principle that you should obey. 5 pillars of wealth. Let's go. Now, having done this, I believe your mind has opened up to this conversation, because I'm going to spoil some of the principles that you knew up to now. The 5 pillars of wealth. Let's read it together. Next slide. Let's look at the work mindset. Now, the work mindset is the belief that you have that money is abundant and can be multiplied, not scarce. How many of us believe the economy is bad? Is the economy bad? Okay. Is the economy fine? You love the economy, let me see your hand. So which one are we? Good or bad? Alright. To you, is the economy good? Now, generally, is the economy good? To you, is the economy good? Yes. Great, I got you. Now, the economy will always be the economy. But do you know that regardless of the economy, people are buying properties every day? Is their economy bad? If their economy is bad, they won't buy properties. True or true? Do you understand where I'm going? Actually, if you're a Christian here, I believe you may have heard the phrase that you don't, what's that? There's a phrase around you not relying on, that you depend on devil's economy, according to what God provides. Right? Christians? Eh? No. There's a scripture around you subscribing to heaven's economy, not just what is happening around you in terms of philosophy and reality. Right? The point here is that you must try as much as you can to separate yourself from the general economic reality. And that speaks to your first, your mindset. Secondly, long-term thinking over short-term gratification. If you have, alright, great. If you have short-term, everything about you just think today, there is a problem as far as your wealth reality is concerned. If all you care about is today, you don't think tomorrow, you don't think long-term. Let me ask a question. If you have a 10 years plan, let me see your hand. A 10-year plan, let me see your hand. 10, 20, let me see your hand. The way you are answering me, I will give somebody a microphone. Good. So please have a long-term thinking. 3, seeing problems as opportunities for value creation. If every problem that comes your way is a problem and nothing but a problem, then you have a problem. Did you hear me? Did you hear me? You must learn to intentionally train your mind to learn to see opportunities in every challenge. And unfortunately, a lot of us, the moment, for example, Nigeria, to some persons or to a lot of us, Nigeria is a problem. But the summary of that problem is that Nigeria is a location full of opportunities. And unfortunately, some persons say, Nigeria has a problem, Ijeoma. And then you go to where you have less opportunities, but you are earning in dollars. Let's not go into that conversation. 3, willingness to learn, take calculated risk and fail forward. 4 or 5, focus on solutions, ownership, and continuous growth. Let's run. Did we get that? Did we get that? Financial literacy. Great. This is a serious foundation. So you can have the wealth mindset. Are you with me? You can have the wealth mindset and not be financially literate. Did you hear me? And right there is the foundation of the problem for a lot of us. You can go to church every day and confess. At some point in this conversation, we may take confession or an affirmation. You can declare that every day until you take financial literacy seriously. You're going nowhere. They will just be mere words. Because as someone will say, hope is not a strategy. Affirmation doesn't give birth to reality itself. Certain things must be done for affirmation to give birth to reality. Are you with me? Are you with me? So financial literacy is key. Now that we have developed the wealth mindset. And for those of us that got 70 over 100, you need to pay attention to the literacy part of the conversation now. And let's go. Number 1, understanding how money works. Income, expense, debt. Understanding how money works. Income, expense, debt. Let me ask a question. How do you make money? Is there another microphone? How do you make money? Please. How do you make money? Pass the mic for me. How do you make money? Alright, she's reading it.
I think we make money by either rendering a service or selling a product.
Rendering a service or selling a product. Alright?
You make money by solving a problem.
You make money by solving a problem. Alright, final person. It's over here.
You make money by giving value to the marketplace.
Good.
And solving problems. But the bigger the problem, the bigger the money you make.
God bless you. Now, hold the mic. What problem are you solving?
Okay, I'm a creator. I'm also a web developer. And one of the problems I'm solving is that I believe Africans can start building their own desk softwares, because one thing I realize is that most people in Africa go out and purchase softwares from other people. But it makes sense if we can produce our own, use our own, and kind of bring more opportunities and enjoy it. So that is summary of the problem I'm solving.
Okay, please take the mic back to her. Let's answer this question. What problem are you solving? What value are you giving? What service are you rendering?
So, as a personal development coach, I think one of the problems I'm solving is helping young people discover their purpose and manifest their true potentials. And I do that by organizing trainings and programs.
How often do you do that?
I do that monthly.
Monthly, paid or free? Alright, good. Now, we're all going to learn, right?
Yes, sir.
One of the things that I realized with we Nigerians, or a lot of us, is that even though we understand that we make money by solving problems, offering value, and all of that, one mistake that we make is that we really don't care about the need dimension of the problem we are solving. Listen carefully. There are problems in Nigeria that need solutions. But there are certain problems that will make you more, or there are certain solutions to certain problems that will make you more money than some. True or true? True or true? When I finished, or when I was leaving my, when I was finishing service, I had a book where I called I called my plan book, something like that. And then I was writing down business that I needed to do, things that were going to make me money, that I was going to use to make money and start my life. Guess what? In that book, I had pet care business. I also had barber salon business. And why I was thinking that way was because that was the capital I had. Because I was saving a major part of my allowance. So looking at the capital I had, I could only start such businesses. And that was where I restricted myself. When I kept on praying, I was like, God, I want to be a billionaire. What business can make me a billionaire as quickly as possible within the right process? And as I kept on reading financial books, studying about wealthy people, there was no conversation that these people were having that real estate was a part of it. I'm like, this real estate thing, you sure said this is not the way. And then I asked myself, how long am I going to do the keke business? My plan was to be buying keke, and then once I have purchase, once this one finished, will go, right? Now, at that level, I will not grow fast with that. But do you know enviable right now? Enviable, this is related, sort of associated with it. You know the group? Part of what they're doing now is keke business. But you know that there are different levels. Mine was keke business, but that keke business will take me years. This one is keke business. Okay. And we give the one I was thinking of was this one is keke business, right? But the point is the level at which you're solving that problem, right? The level of the need of that problem that you are solving. And the other part is that some of us, what we are even doing is important, but we don't know how to sell the importance. Did you hear me? Did you hear me? And then the last set of people are those who think their passion will make them good. You are here. When I started, if you knew me like 5 years ago, I was a leadership coach and a purpose coach. That was what I was at the time. I was teaching people leadership, but I really didn't have any leadership platform. I was teaching people purpose, and at the time, it looked like my purpose was teaching people purpose. But now, I think I have a better purpose and a better leadership platform to now teach what I practice, not just what I'm reading from any book. Do you understand the difference? Because people in this generation, especially in this Gen Z that ask a lot of questions, they will ask you what qualifies you to teach me what you are teaching me. Are you with me? Are you with me? Yes, sir. The way people are quiet. To understand how money works, a problem you want to sell, you want to solve, understand the real dimension of it, so that you will not be solving a problem and be looking like the problem you are trying to solve. Ability to read and interpret financial statements. Have you seen a financial statement? If last year you downloaded your bank statement at the end of the year, let me see your hand. If you downloaded your bank statement at the end of 2024, let me see your hand. Less than 5% of us. If you have downloaded your bank statement in the last 5 years, let me see your hand. Consistently. If you know what has entered all of your accounts up to date, let me see your hand. See, you see this financing that we talk. Prayer is not enough to solve it. It's important that we begin to develop certain practices. As a matter of fact, there is a reason that banks are meant to send you your financial statement every month. Go through it, read it. Far from there, you'll be seeing some of the things that are happening in your money. Don't end any month. Consider this is supposed to be part of the next slide, is supposed to be financial habits, but I'm touching it now. Make it a habit of checking your bank statement. It was in checking in detail that I realized that one of my bank accounts, they were collecting 300 and something thousand at bank charges every month. Did you hear what I said? One of my bank accounts, or one of my corporate accounts, the bank was collecting as much as 300 and something thousand every month as charges. While there is another bank that I have, because of what was kept here, they gave me 300 and something thousand 2 months ago. If I didn't check, I wouldn't know. And then we needed to fix that problem. Are you with me? Yes. Are you with me? Now, part of the traits, or part of the habits that you develop by checking your statement is that you know what your inflow and outflow is like. You'll be shocked that the 100 million has entered your account in a year and you don't look like it and you didn't know. So until you begin to look at it and analyze, you may never be able to really play in the realm of wealth. And then budgeting. You don't want to joke with budgeting. Budgeting your money. If you earn 100k, you earn 300k, tell yourself 80% of this money will not be touched till the end of the month. 80% of this money goes to this account and I can't access it. And then you manage. That is where the delayed gratification comes in. A lot of us use phones that we cannot afford. That you bought it doesn't mean you can afford it. Did you hear me? That you bought the phone doesn't mean you can afford it. Because by your financial status, you shouldn't be using that kind of phone. There's a principle that I have. If I can't buy something up to 5 times, if it's a liability, okay, let me not call it a liability. We're going to get to that. But if it's something that is not an absolute need, and I cannot afford it up to 5 times, I don't buy it. If I can't afford it that day, up to 5 times, I can't buy it. Even the car that I use today. Part of the time, we're not there yet. Okay, so let's leave that. Number 3, knowledge of interest rates, inflation, and cash flow. Who knows what our interest rate in Nigeria is today? You see everything I'm saying? It is the difference between where you were and where you are now. And then after this class, when we are done, take everything I'm saying and give yourself 1 year by practicing what I'm teaching you today. Practice what I'm teaching you 1 year and you will see the difference in your life. understand what is happening in the Nigerian economy, macroeconomy, microeconomy. I told you I'm a lawyer, right? Yes. Good. I have no business with some of the things I'm saying, true or true. But as far as the wealth is concerned, you must be aware. Does this make sense? Yes. Cash flow, inflation. What is cash flow? Who knows what cash flow is? Who knows what cash flow is? Any question I ask and you don't have an answer, it's part of the reasons for your financial status. Are you sure you should have started me for a conference like this? I feel like for the things I'm saying will make some people feel bad and may not pay attention to the other speakers. Let's try as much as we can too. I asked about cash flow, so let's move on. Cash flow is, in simple Nigerian English, how the cash they flow. How the cash flow waiting. Now, part of the intent, the original intent behind cash flow is that it should flow in a way that is not very, very dependent on your direct effort. So, for example, academy. Or let me try and be more personal with the conversation. So, for example, my academy. The only thing I do with the academy is training. I don't know the management, the running, the operational. The only thing I come to do with academy is that, oh, somebody paid me when $1 training university coming the other day. All I'm just there and the last enters my account. And boom, I go and try, move on. You can as well have, say, for example, real estate rental property. Right? Anything that constantly gives you money. For example, we can safely categorize books as cash flow. Because now you've written it. In fact, book is an asset. We're going to get to that point, right? But the idea behind the cash flow, is that you have put it together in a way that it just keeps generating money. For example, our students, my academic students, the course has been recorded, has been created, and then people just pay the courses, and then they don't even get to see me till the day they are graduating. I'm here speaking to you. Somebody might be somebody taking my course. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? I'm speaking to you right now, but I'm attending to the person. That is less effort. I've created a system and a structure around it. Right? Let's go. Understanding asset versus liability and net worth calculation. This is very important. I'm going to stay here for a moment. Now, who can differentiate assets and liability for me? Who knows the difference? Asset and liability. Right? Pass the mic for me quickly. My time is running now. Asset and liability. Alright, let's see if you made it as possible.
Okay, good morning, sir.
Good morning to you.
Assets are
what did you study?
I said good morning.
What did you study?
What did I study? I'm engineering.
Alright, that's fine. If you studied anything finance related, I'll let my mind.
Okay. I did study, but I'm a financial analyst.
No, give the mic to another person. What about you? What did you study, sir?
Computer engineering.
Did you study anything finance related?
No.
Alright, go on.
So, anything that can bring money to you is an asset. Anything that takes money out from you is a liability.
Okay. I like the definition, and I've taught the definition. There's a balance to it. Okay, pass the mic to her. She has spoken quickly. Thank you very much. Please put them together for him. No, give it to him.
Alright, my name is Daniel. So I studied economics.
No, give the mic to her. What did you study? Sorry? Alright, give it to her. And you have a finance background. That's the reason. Thank you. I appreciate it. Put them together for him, please.
Good morning, my name is Eve. From my studying, an asset is something that we do that increases in value over time, like real estate. When you get it, like property is an asset. Over time, it's appreciating value. But a liability is something that reduces value over time. Like if you get a Tesla this year, in 5 years' time, that's reduces value. So,
all right. Okay. Okay. So the best way around some of these kind of things is to really explain it. Do you know that there are some cars that are monuments and they're assets forever? Yeah. There's some cars that are in the museum till date and people go and see them and they pay to see them. Did you get that? So, but at the basic and the primary definition of an asset is what you own and then brings in money to you. And then the liability is what you owe and then takes money away from you. Now, does it mean that everything and by its definition is an asset or a liability? The answer is yes and no. A car to me is not a liability. A car to me is an asset. 20 minutes gone again, so it's remaining 10 minutes. Okay. An asset to me is So by our definition, we are all correct. And then just understand the deeper dimension of the conversation beyond the basic. A house, even though it's a fixed asset, can become a liability when it begins to drain you instead of to raise you. Do you understand it? Yes. So the idea is that in all you do, you must begin to play intentionally to ensure that whatever you have, irrespective of the definition, is bringing something in for you. That is the idea. Alright? Not just taking. If your iPhone 16 Pro Max, even though it's expensive, is generating money for you, then it becomes an asset and not a liability to you. But if you're driving a car that has no business in your garage, and then you can have as well use another car and achieve the purpose that you use it for, then that one now becomes a liability. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Lord Jesus. Awareness of basic investment tools, real estate, stocks, tax and regulatory compliance. If you're a business owner here, you don't want to deal with tax and regulations. Last week we paid our tax for 2024 and filed our necessary returns for 2024. You don't want to deal with that. If you're a business owner here and you've not filed your returns and paid your tax for 2024, that is bad. And you are already in the realm of penalties. But a lot of us are not aware, and then you keep running your business. 5 years, the day SROS will knock on your door, you will not like yourself. Did you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Good. I cannot differentiate in each of these anymore. Knowing the difference between financial profitability and sustainability in business. Financial profitability in business is that you're making money. At the end of every month in your business, money is entering 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million. You buy a product of 1 million, sell it for 3 million. Do you make profit? Did you make profit?
Yes, sir.
Is your business profitable?
Yes, sir.
Good. That is the realm that a lot of businesses are. But most businesses never talk about the conversation of sustainability. Profitability ends the day the business ends. For example, if there is one policy that bans your business and then you no longer sell that business, are you still profitable? Are you still profitable? There's nothing to get profit from. But one thing all of us as business people must do is to enter the realm of sustainability from the day our profit starts coming in. And how do you do that? If, for example, you were making 2 million naira profit on whatever you were selling, and at that rate you were profitable, and then at the end of every year you acquire a property of 10 million naira, and then your business ran for 5 years, and you bought a property 10 million naira for 5 years every year. That gives you about at capital base of 50 million naira in investment, and based on acquisition and everything in between, you may have ended up within 5 years acquired over properties of worth over 100 to 150 million. True or true? If the business dies, can what you have invested in sustain and enter another business? That is sustainability. Profitability ends the day profit stops coming. Sustainability begins the day profit stops. That is one mistake that a lot of us make. Some of us would have, how many of us know Vodi? You know Vodi? You see the massive office building that he just built? A lot of us don't know that he's a serious investor. I was listening to him the other day at a business masterclass, and he was talking about how he bought a property in one location somewhere around 30-something million a couple of years back or thereabout. And they're asking him to buy that property. They're asking to buy that property from me for 850 million naira in Green. Imagine if he had given all his sowing money to the sowing plots. You don't build that kind of massive structure with money from just sowing plots alone. There is a realm of profitability that he has attained, and there's a realm of investment that he has also done to achieve that level of success. Does that make sense? And some people in their comment section will be there, he shouldn't have thought this guy this way. He shouldn't have thought this guy this way. You are joking with your profit money, is investing his own. And the investment has a way of scaling your profit. The idea of investment is to scale your profit. Financial habits. Being able to track your annual asset growth and annual liability growth, financial habits. Tracking income and expense consistently, track your income and expense consistently, avoid impulsive purchases. Something when you don't plan to buy, you just wake up because your neighbor bought it, boom, you have bought yours as well. Avoid impulsive purchases. Regularly reviewing and adjusting your financial goals, continually do that. Number 4, living below your means and building above your income. Let me explain that. Living below your means is that, for example, you can afford something of 100 million, right? And then with 100 million naira, you can buy a car of 100 million. True or true? Now, living below your means is that it's okay to drive a car of 5 million naira even though you are earning 100 million. But the next line is saying build above your income. With that build above your income, it's now saying that even though you can earn 100 million naira, you can stretch yourself to buy a property of 300 million. Before you know it, you have paid for it. Does that make sense? So if you want to build wealth, you must live below and build above. Earning as a start when working as a CEO with accountability structure. For some of us that run businesses or you're about to start one, pay yourself as a staff, earn as a staff, but work as a CEO. Don't be the CEO that just logs into company account and boom, you have bought what is not needed. Asset acquisition, buying properties that appreciate or generate rent, investing in businesses or startups, creating and owning intellectual property. Intellectual property like books. Next month, sometime I'm working on 2 books right now. The first one has been sent to the inner layout designer, and I'm building that as an asset. And part of my goal is that my book should be able to give me 100 million naira in a short period of time. Academy has a goal and all of that. So the idea is that these things can be used as asset. Your book is an asset, your course is an asset. So we have video courses, we have books that we're working on, we have a number of things. We're creating and owning intellectual property. That's what this is your already mentioned that. Buying dividend paying stocks and shares, right? Stock is the general market, shares is the product itself. Acquiring digital assets, websites, platforms, government approved platforms, and not CBS. Leave CBS alone. Leave CBS what? Cash flow. Income that flows in regularly without constant effort. Rental income from real estate investment, dividends from shares, interest from savings and investment, profit from automated businesses or digital products. Wealth through real estate. Where do you start from? How many minutes do I have? I'm already rushing. I apologize. How many minutes do I have? 10 extra minutes. Thank you, God. Please, let's get out of that. Am I doing good?
Yes, sir.
Should I continue?
Yes, sir.
1 hour more? No. 2 hours. All right, let's go quickly. Now, wealth through real estate. Where do I start from? Start by having money to invest. Right? Start by having money to invest. Investment is not for everybody. I had one 18-year-old guy that met me one time, and then he said he wanted to buy property. I interrogated him. Yeah, I could have sold and collected money, but I had a conversation with him, and I told him that your money is not for property. Go and use that money to do something. So you've not entered the realm. Of course, I have my own story. My own story was that I bought a property. That time I was earning that 40K salary. I didn't tell you, I bought a land. Do you believe it? I cannot use that 10 minutes to answer it. Remind me, let me rush to my end of my slide, then I can answer that question. Right? So, have money first. Have money first. Increase your producing power. And there's a level, I did a video, so you might as well try to check videos on YouTube. We have videos for academy that's selling real estate, and we have videos for where we talk about real estate and opportunities in real estate. Now, there's a video I did where I talked about how to know whether you are ready to start buying properties or not. Right? So please, if you can watch that video before you can watch it, but start by having money first, right? So that you will not buy property and not be disturbing somebody to sell property for you to see to job. Right? Start by learning real estate. Now, from there, learn about real estate investment. And I just recommended our YouTube channel. You will learn a lot about real estate investment there. If you want to start selling, you can learn a lot about selling real estate from our academy page, the YouTube channel, right? And then get into the circle of investors. One thing that helped me to buy my first property was the fact that for some reason I've always been close to people who had more money than I had, right? People who were older than me, people who by all standards were not my mates. Right? In church, my closest spouse or my closest people, I had a bank manager at the time who was very close to me. I had all of them had cars, not even the church. Maybe then, in fact, their suits went on destroy or went on come to maybe they're not too like them again, maybe they give. You understand that kind of vibes? She went on, maybe they will give. And I was glad and grateful for it. Right? So one time we wanted to buy a property and they were like, we were discussing it. And they were like, I don't know if you buy a move, who would? And then I looked at it, I've been saving my money to chop a promotion for 5 days. And I looked at it and I realized that I could. And then I took the risk. If I wasn't in that circle, where that conversation was had, it would never come to my consciousness that I should do it or I could do it. And then it was around that period I also separated intentionally from one friend. We're very close, nice person. In fact, he was the nicest person in our entire crew. But he had a problem, which is a Welsh problem. Every time he was doing fine. But every time you go to him and talk about one small win, he would complain about almost everything that's happening around. And then I realized that every time I went close to him, instead of me to talk about the good that God is doing for us, I started to complain about the negative. And I saw that as a toxic environment. In fact, the day I told him that I bought a land, he like, the buyer, you don't tell me, come on here. You know, and I needed to separate myself from that environment. And then the moment I started intentionally, and guess what? My own circle outside him, right? After I bought the land, I was the first to buy in my circle. After I bought the land, people around, they themselves started out buying their own too because somebody in that circle has made that move and has communicated the possibility of achieving that. So your circle is very important. Set a goal. If it's one plot every year, you can do it. Look for someone to hold your hand. look for somebody to hold your hand. You don't want to make a mistake in real estate. You don't want to make a mistake in creating wealth generally. Now, strategies to build wealth in real estate. Number one, flipping. Flipping. You can buy a property and flip it almost immediately and make a lot of money from it. Number two, partnership offers. Partnership offers. Right? And by partnership, I mean, you can reach out to a real estate company and say, oh, I have so much money. My business makes 50 million every year. I want to be giving you 30, 20, and then that works as well. And then we also have purchase offers. We have pre-launch offers. We have distress offers. We have installments. And then I think for everybody here, I would encourage you, don't joke with installment offers. Because it's one of the most beautiful things that real estate has done for us in our society today. Real estate companies have that is a game changer as far as real estate is concerned. Because with that, you are able to break your payments down in bits and still be able to enjoy. Let's put this together for my. Thank you, David. Good to have you around. Right? So I mentioned earlier in my competition that for almost 3 years now, there's no months I'm not paying from one property or the other. You heard that? You heard that earlier on? Even me as a developer, me as a broker. Of course, what even helped me to transit from being a broker, being a realtor, as we would call it, is the fact that I was able to buy as much as possible to help me to transit. Right? So if you're not doing that, then you miss the opportunity. Right? Offline is you buying a property when the company is building it. As the company is building it, but then you are keen into the opportunity. And then usually for most of our off-plan projects, the moment it's being built at that level, and then within 1 year you get as much as 100% return. Right? And then before you might enter the realm of cash flow, which is completely a game changer. Alright? If that money you can develop, you can be a developer. And then the last and the easiest thing to do in real estate is selling. And everybody can sell. Do you agree with me? Everybody can sell. Everybody can be a salesman and sell real estate and make good money. I told you about the guy that has done 4 plots within the last 1 month. And then the average commission is 5,710. Right, 5,710. So if you did 10%, 6.4 times 4 is how much? 6.4 million times 4 is how much? Please help me, let's calculate it. I'm ramping up already. 6.4 million times 4 is how much? 25.6 million. Then 10% is how much? 2.5, let's approximate 2.5 million. Alright, 7% is how much? I'm trying to help our minds. Let's see how this thing works. 5% is how much? Alright, and then 5% is how much? 5% is how much? 320,000. Alright, the question is, how many people comfortably end that every month? It's 10%. In fact, how many oil workers are earning that? Talking about senior staff are earning as much as that. That is what this guy goes or has gone home with. And then part of what gives birth to our 7-figure advanced course is that at the end of every month you can earn on the base of 1 million naira every month. Every what? Month. I checked statistics online, and in putting together the book, I was looking at the data around investors' average earning across the world, particularly for those of my clients who are in the diaspora. And I realized that the average guy over there earns around $40,000 annually to $60,000 annually. While the average salary in Nigeria, can take a guess? Average annual salary in Nigeria. Who can take a guess? Quickly. Average in a year. Okay, average in a year. The first platform said 4 million naira to the 300,000 thereabouts monthly salary. But the question is, how many Nigerians are earning as much as 300,000 naira every month? So it means that the average annual salary of a Nigerian in Nigeria is extremely low. That average salary, that annual 4 million naira salary, is what I pay a realtor on a plot of land. So you may want to begin to reconsider. And again, like I said, you mustn't be fully into real estate. And of course, if you want to name top 3 businesses in Abuja, you can't go mention real estate. Sure. Now, risk. What are the risks? There's risk everywhere. But if you can play professionally, you'll be able to mitigate the risk. Zero risk, zero reward. Zero risk, zero results. To build sustainably, right, real estate should not be a side up to you. There's no wealthy man. None. Anywhere in the entire world that is not playing seriously in real estate. Is Dangote into real estate? Is he? Do you think Dangote is into real estate? Where you have the Dangote refinery, you know how many thousand hectares he has there? That is a multi-billion real estate empire. Right? So you don't want to joke with real estate. There's no wealthy man, none. Right? Now, I think in wrapping up my slides, please stand up and play a game with me. Let's play a game. Just stand up and play a game with me. Then I don't know if I'll have time to take some questions. So, raise your 1 feet. Don't worry, no punishment. I'm doing it. We're just having fun out of the meeting. Raise 1 feet, 1 feet. Only 1 feet. 1 feet. When you're tired, you can drop it. 1 feet. When you're tired, you can drop it. Once you're tired, wait for me and you can drop it. Right? So please don't not too from this bond. When you're tired, just drop it. Now, as you're doing that, please listen carefully. God didn't design us to stand on 1 foot. You have 2 eyes, yes or yes? 2 of these, yes or yes? 2 nostrils, yes or yes? Alright. A lot of things that God gave to us, He gave us 2 double for a reason. Most importantly, don't be tired. And most importantly, some of the things that aid our movement. The things that aid our movement, our next level. 2. One of the most important of them is our feet. Our feet is very important. And God gave us 2 for a reason. But the unfortunate thing that a lot of us do is that we have businesses, but we don't do investments. You have businesses, you don't think financially in a way that helps you to have a double engine. Even the plane has double engine for a reason. Remember I talked about profitability without sustainability. A lot of us are profitable in our business. It is investment that helps you to pay sustainably. So if all you do is make profit every month and you are not thinking investment and sustainability, when anything goes wrong, the business crashes. Nothing to fall back on. Are you aware that real estate was a major part of $10 coming back? I don't know that it crashed. It had a crash in business. Please go and study the life of Femi $10. You don't want to, in this age and time, you don't want in this age and time ignore the power of real estate. And then if you can't pay attention to it alongside every other thing I've taught, one thing we realize is that when you pay attention to those financial literacy, those 5 pillars I mentioned earlier, you realize that it may not just be real estate for you, it opens you up to achieve a lot of things. So please repeat after me. I am a billionaire. I invest in me daily. And I choose to commit to the demands of greatness. I'm a billionaire. I invest in me. And I invest in real estate. I'm a billionaire. I don't just own investments in billions. I build and leave generational wealth for my children's children. Thank you for having me.
All right, please, does anyone have any question?